Hey, fellow equestrian adventuresses. I'm super excited. We have a fun topic today, unique ways to travel. And one of them is volunteering for an equestrian event. So this is something that doesn't take up, months and months of your life. You can actually volunteer for a horse event. I actually have experience with this. So I'm going to dive into that today. I also want to announce, super exciting, our new Horse Riding in Every Country and Every US State catalog book is actually, it's not out yet. It's coming very, very soon. I'm super excited when you guys get your hands on this book. And in that book, there's actually going to be at the back of the book, so there is, of course, the index, every single country in the world, every US state, we have a whole list of horse stables, but also at the back, there's going to be a listing of a bunch of jobs that you guys can work or volunteer. So I would say, and last year we also had a job book, how to volunteer and travel the world with horses, which you can go on our website right now and download for free. So that's there. But yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be more talking about like the specific act of volunteering for an event. So an equestrian event, for example, could be like the World Equestrian Games or like a show jumping competition. Or, we actually recently interviewed someone for the podcast. I don't think it's out yet, but again, that's coming out very soon. She volunteered at a FEI driving competition, like carriage driving. So, there's all kinds of different equestrian events which you can volunteer for. And that's what I want to talk about. And it's a really cool and unique way to travel because usually how it works, if you're volunteering, they will give you, like, you'll kind of spend, let's say if it's a 3-day event, you might spend 1 day working, and then you might have the other 2 days for free where you can just go and watch and have a good time. So, the volunteering for events, it's definitely like a cool and unique way to travel and see new places. And also you get to see like the behind the scenes. So my experience, I actually volunteered for the Kentucky Rolex, and this was a while ago. And I remember I was kind of guarding the warm-up on cross-country jumping day. So I was in the warm-up arena, and I would just kind of watch the riders go in and out, make sure there wasn't too many riders all at one time, and make sure obviously like the public wasn't allowed to have access to the warm-up arena. So I was just kind of like making sure that there wasn't any people wandering into the warm-up arena. And so because I was volunteering, I got to see like behind the scenes of all these like top amazing riders who were warming up their horses, getting ready to go jump a 5-star cross-country course. So, I did miss out. Like, obviously I was there like for the entire competition, so I didn't get to go and wander all of the jumps and see all of the action. But I had a lot of other friends who were also volunteering at the time, and we all got stationed at different jumps. And then they would do things like, again, there's kind of like a little rope usually at these cross-country events, and, people will either walk by, so they might have to like blow a little whistle and let people know that a horse is coming, and then they close off the rope. Or, there's just kind of small little jobs like that. It's a lot of standing around, to be honest. But you get to see, depending on where you're stationed or whatever, like I got to see the warm up. They got to see some of the cool and exciting jumps. And so, yeah, volunteering is definitely a cool and unique way of traveling and seeing horses. And I actually had another situation where I went to Qatar. And in Qatar, they actually have the FEI, like it's the Longines, and it's show jumping. Like that's my jam is show jumping. And so my friend at the time was working at the stables, and so I was working in Egypt at the time, and she kind of messaged me like, "Hey, I'm working at this event. Do you want a free ticket? Like, do you want to just come and hang out with me and maybe help me out a little bit and just kind of watch the event for free?" So I jumped on a plane and I went, and honestly, I didn't have to do anything. She just kind of got me in, which was super cool. And I was able to kind of watch the Longines show jumping, and then she would kind of disappear and go and help out with whatever it is she needed to do. And then she would kind of come and join me, and then we got to watch the show jumping at the end. So I have Ucha joining me now. I'm just gonna let Ucha jump in. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How's it going? Sorry, my internet did a little trouble again, but I decided to do it via the mobile now rather than the laptop, so I think this works now.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I was just sharing about how some of my experiences. I volunteered at the Kentucky Rolex, and then for the FEI Longines in Qatar, I got to go and kind of watch my friend who was working there a little bit behind the scenes. So yeah, what are your, have you had, I don't know, students volunteer at your stables, or what do you think about that?
Well, yeah, I did have some kind of volunteer, because we had a few bad experiences. So I'm a little bit careful of whom I'm taking nowadays, because Mostly it's a lot of young girls wanting to volunteer, and very often, they are very young, they're very inexperienced, and it's basically by the end of the day, they're quite often more work than actually they help you. So I had a few of them where I really had to take them by the hand and, really take care of them so much that I didn't really manage to do my other work. So, but I did have one or two slightly older women, and they were really great. I mean, it's not always that young girls are like more like not knowing what to do, but sometimes it's a little difficult.
Yeah, and in our book, which we have on the website now, How to Work and Volunteer Abroad with Horses, which you can download this for free on our website. But in that book, I do kind of share, some different helpful topics and hints. So, should you be certified, or what kind of qualifications do you need, and what type of like job ideas are there? So right now I'm just mentioning very specifically, show jumping shows or like volunteering at the WAG or these big competitions. But there's a whole lot of other things which you can volunteer for based on your interests and based on your like in one of our books, I forget which one it is. I'm like so bad at this now. In one of our books, I'm going to say book number 4. One of the girls, she was studying like being a vet, and she went to Namibia to volunteer, not as a vet, but because she had these vet qualifications, actually she started doing a bunch of vet stuff. And she started taking care of some of the horses, and not even horses. She had to take care of like an antelope and like all kinds of crazy African animals, which she had no experience in, but like she was the only person there that could help. So, definitely look at the skills that you have and what you can offer to the table. And sometimes it's not even horsey related. Like if you are good on the computer, if you're good with things that most horsey people don't know how to do, like you could volunteer and go to his stables and kind of work something out with him. So yeah, definitely look at what you have and what you can bring to the table. And you would be surprised like what an email can do. Like just sending an email to somebody and just saying like, hey, these are my skills. Do you need me? It can really go a long way. And I actually had at one point, I had people kind of offering me work and different things, but I had to turn them down just because like I couldn't do 5 different things at once. But yeah, you would be surprised how much with an email, like especially in the horse niche, I think there's a need.
Yeah, I think there's always lots of opportunities. And I mean, particularly, I think if you have some skills, and as you mentioned, not only horse related skills, it's also if you have like office skills, marketing skills. I think this is really, really very often valuable because a lot of the horse people do not have these skills. So for them, having like say, okay, do you need somebody to help you with the marketing, for instance, or help you with the emailing, or help you taking care of riding guests, or even, farrier work or stuff like this. This is really very, very helpful for companies, for outfitters. So I think these kind of skills definitely go a long way. So particularly, I think computer skills are always a big plus.
And if you're good with like a camera or videos, or if you're like a creative person, like that's all useful skills. I remember one job I had, it was in Romania, and I'm just like a video person. Like I just love videos, and I would make all kinds of little videos. And I remember my boss found out one day, like I showed him one of the videos I had made, and he was like, oh my God, we need to make all of our customers watch this. Because it was like a little educational, like how to pick feet and how to put the halter on. Like, I don't know what it was exactly, but he was like, we need to make them all watch this. And so he got really excited, and, and then suddenly he wanted more and more videos from me. So, like whatever skills you have, like, honestly, it's so funny to think like some, horse stables in Romania was interested in these little videos, but like, so take what skills you have. And if you're willing to learn, and you're willing to, spend a day on your feet and volunteer at an event like this, or do something a little bit unique and creative, they're always needing help. So I can't imagine that you would get turned down, to be honest.
Sure. I mean, definitely. I was just thinking the other day, I don't know how people or why people pay money to go to the gym. I'm so, there's so much work always, it's physical work. I think the best thing if you want to volunteer with horses at different organizations in different countries, you shouldn't be scared of work. You should be willing to put a lot of work. But I think what is also important is you need to be really a bit self-reliant. You need to see work and do work, because I think the worst thing is if you have somebody whom you have to tell each and everything what has to be done. So I think the best kind of person I would want to have is somebody who can see the work, who can work independently, who sees, oh, okay, these horses need brushing, or maybe this thing needs to be repaired. Oh, okay, the saddles look a little dusty. Let's go and clean saddles and stuff. So, you can go to your, to the person there in the stable and say, okay, can I have some, I need some saddle soap or leather oil. I'll go to do the, the leather stuff. And nobody will object for that, because this is work very often in a lot of companies. It doesn't get done because nobody has time for it. And this is kind of, you don't need to be super specialist, super great, amazing rider. That's not the point. The point is you need to love horses, you need to be practical, you need to be a little hands-on, let's say it that way, and not to be afraid to ask and not to be afraid to do things. So I think this is just all what it takes.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good that you bring that up, because that is like the biggest pet peeve of stables. And I've hired a lot of people as well at different stables. And that is one of the things we don't tolerate is we cannot babysit you. We can't babysit you, not forever, the first few days or a week maybe. But yeah, we can't babysit you. And it's funny, and I guess, Ute, you're going to laugh when I say this, but in Hindi, there's a fun word, jugaad. And it's basically turning nothing into something. It's like being very crafty and inventing kind of alternate ways of doing something. And in that story of the girl who was like a vet, and she was in Namibia, one of the horses got a wound or something and she needed to sew it. And she didn't have anything to sew it with. So she did a little bit of jugaad, like a little bit of magic. And she had like dental floss and I don't know what. And she just made it work. So definitely with horses, if you are creative and crafty and you have a little bit of jugaad, then you're going to do fine. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been a quick little video, but hopefully you guys have gotten some good, helpful tips. And as I mentioned, we do have the new Horse Riding in Every Country and Every U.S. State book coming out soon, which is going to have a whole bunch of different jobs for you guys. If you are interested in working abroad or volunteering abroad, definitely that's going to be worth checking out. So keep an eye on this space. Like, we're going to let that book come out pretty soon. And you can also get last year's book, which also has quite a few cool jobs in there. And definitely, I think there is one in India as well in last year's book. So yeah. Hopefully you guys found this helpful, and we will see you guys next week. Just let us know, like in the comments, or just send us an email or whatever, like what kind of topics you guys are interested in. And we love hearing from you guys. So yeah, thank you so much. And we will see you guys.
Exactly. Lovely to be here. And I hope you found it interesting. I loved it, and see you next week.